you know, when the senator found out about the mix-up that occurred with the scheduling, she immediately told her staff, arrange my schedule because anybody who signed up to see me should see me. And I want to see them. Without further delay, I'd like to introduce somebody who I have a really great honor of representing at Bloggers here, Senator Hillary Clinton.
I'm delighted to be here, and I thank you all for your understanding about working out the time, and I'm very grateful to you for that. I think I just lost the microphone. No, is it working? Yeah. Here we go. Is that okay? No, I don't want to shout. Does that work better? Vast right-wing conspiracy.
Hi, Senator. I'm Geraldine Merritt. I'm from Denver. I'm a criminal defense lawyer, and I write Why is or how is your Attorney General going to be different than Alberto Gonzalez?
Look, I think that President Bush has conducted a very dangerous experiment in extremism in our country, and has turned away from basic tenets of our Constitution, our separation of powers, our checks and balances. The fact that despite everything that has come out about Attorney General Gonzalez, the White House just hangs in there and supports him, speaks volumes about their contempt for the rule of law, their contempt for the missions that an Attorney General should fulfill. I think that Attorney General Gonzalez should be removed, or he should resign. And I hope that
we only have time for one more question, sorry, because the senator has to prepare for the forum.
let's take two.
There you go. two more questions.
I wanted to have the opportunity to ask you about 4 other pieces of legislation that happened during the Clinton years, and whether you would be willing to also advocate their repeal. The Defense of Marriage Act, the Telecommunications Bill of 1996, NAFTA, and the Welfare Reform of 1996.
DOMA, I believe that DOMA served a very important purpose. I was one of the architects of the strategy against the marriage amendment to the Constitution. I think that DOMA appropriately put the responsibility of the states where it has historically belonged, and I think you're beginning to see states take actions. I think it's Part 3 of DOMA needs to be repealed because Part 3 stands in the way of the full extension of federal benefits, and I support that. So that's the first. Telecommunications of 96, you'll have to ask Al Gore. He's an expert, I'm not. And so I don't want to, I like what the FCC is looking at doing about maintaining more competition by the auction of the spectrum. So, we've got to take a hard look at this, and I don't want to say something that I may not, really support. So I've got to look at that more closely. NAFTA, I have said that NAFTA did not realize the benefits that it was promised for a number of reasons. This is not just about Mexico. This is about the tripartite relationship. So I think we have to generally have smarter trade agreements that not only have labor and environmental standards, which I fully support, but really have an ongoing evaluation of the impact of trade agreements. With respect to welfare reform, I think the positive consequences of welfare reform far outweigh the negative, and the regret that I have is that in the last 6.5 years, the work that we did to try to protect medical care and educational benefits for people getting off of welfare and working at low-wage jobs have been the subject of attacks by the Bush administration. And we're in this big fight now about health care for children, you know, a combination of Medicaid, the Children's Health Insurance Program, something that I helped to start when I was First Lady. You know, we should obviously stand against the Bush threat to veto what we passed in the Senate and the House last week. And eventually we need to get to universal health care so we don't have these battles. But it's one thing but let me just end, because I know they told me I'm supposed to go to some green room to get ready with all the other people. I don't know what that means. But let me just end with this. I mean, every election is about the future. Every election is about the future. And it is about what kind of change we want for our country. But what's really going to matter in this election is how much power and energy we have from citizens across America. Because we've got to join together to elect a president we cannot afford to lose. Doing what I'm advocating in my campaign, the big goals I want to set: universal health care, a new energy agenda that protects our security, increases our fight against global warming, helps to create millions of new jobs, an education agenda that starts with pre-K going through college affordability, looking at reforming the government, ending the cronyism, increasing transparency and openness, getting back the old-fashioned idea that we might start appointing people again who are actually qualified for the positions that we have to hold. I can't do any of that without your help. And I love a vigorous debate. And I love a great exchange of ideas, and I think that's what primaries are for, and that is certainly what the blogosphere is for. And it has made us better candidates and office holders, and I think it could play a major role in electing me president, electing a Democrat president. So I appreciate what you're doing. Not everything you're doing, but no. I invite you to really be partners with my campaign. That doesn't mean, you know, you have to support me, although I wish you would, but it does mean that we want to hear from you. So take Peter's invitation seriously. Let us have your ideas. You know, let's be as creative as we can to reach out to people who don't already agree with us. That's the hard part of politics. You know, if we just talk to ourselves, we sound really smart. But we've got to figure out how to break down the barriers in talking to people who may not agree with us. We've got to reach out to people who may never read a blog, may not agree with you or me 100%, but who know in their core that we have to have a new direction in this country. That's my mission. I am here to win and change America, and I thank you for everything you do.